Dave, would you care to do the introduction for our
Our
good
dear
friend?
friend, a longtime friend, Rick Gobbell, is joining us now for the New World edition of Rick's Rules. And Rick, good morning, man. I'm not hearing Rick. Good morning, Rick. I'll keep saying that till I hear him. Good morning, Rick.
Good morning, Dave.
The third time is the charm. Okay, there's always one more
well,
button.
I was listening to you on radio there on this new setup. I really like that, Dave, and that's going to give us a whole lot more access to a whole lot more people. Matter of fact, I had not looked at it, and I apologize for that. I've been busy on some expert cases, but looks real good, sounds real good, and I'm excited for you about it.
Oh, well, thank you so much. We are excited too. We were scared, and then that scared turns into really thrilled when we found out that the trucking world was kind of waiting for us here on all of these platforms. It's just amazing. So,
Well, I was always talking to my clients and my drivers that I go to safety meetings and things, but that the old format and the way you had to get into it, we just didn't have the access to the audits that I think we will. Just this very simple format. If you've got a cell phone, you can listen to us, and I think that's great. I think it's absolutely great, and I think it'll really expand what we're trying to get out to our trucking industry. There's all kind of information out there, as you well know. Some of it's pretty good, some of it isn't. And I wish I knew how many times I inspected a truck or a driver, and he said, well, somebody told me I didn't have to do that. I said, well, when you get home, you might want to take that up with them, So,
on all of the new platforms and everything, we have a lot of old friends that are joining us here. We see them on our YouTube chat and everything. But there are new listeners, too, who are joining us every day. So I think it's only fair to let folks know where you're coming from, Rick, in terms of your career. Your highway career started about the same time that my radio career started. We go kind of back to the days of Todd Spencer with OOIDA, so we're from that school. But you started with a crawler under a truck with a flashlight back with ICC, FHWA, Federal Highway Administration, and then, of course, FMCSA. Give us the thumbnail biography, if you would, Rick.
Well, I think I just finished my 52nd year of commercial vehicle and highway safety work. The first 35 years was with the Tennessee Public Service Commission, checking trucks on side road when Tennessee Public Service Commission had that authority. I did that about 2.5 years. And all I ever wanted was one of them federal jobs, but that was kind of a path to it. And then I went to the Interstate Commerce Commission and went to Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. I was a 26-year-old district supervisor up there that nobody had ever seen anybody that young be a district supervisor. Mm-hmm. I was granting authority, and we was auditing cars, and we was doing investigations on all kinds of commercial regulations.
Nobody ever heard anybody with that accent either, right?
Well, you know what? I always said the guys kind of laughed at me, but the women smiled.
You won that one. You won that one.
I didn't care about them guys. I didn't care, but you're right. That was quite an experience sitting in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, and talking with a southern drawl. That's okay. It worked out real well. So I hung around there a couple of years, saw that they were trying to sunset the ICC. Senator Kennedy, his group, was trying to put us out of business at that time. So I kind of read the tea leaves. I transferred to the Federal Highway Administration in Nashville, Tennessee. I was trying to think what year that was. That was probably about 77, 78. And I worked for the Federal Highway Administration for 20-something years. And that wasn't all bad. I was talking to a guy the other day about concrete, and I learned that stuff at the Federal Highway because we didn't build, but we made sure that the states built it to our specs. Now, I was on the truck safety side, but they was always making us come to these meetings and showing these videos and stuff. But you learn wherever you go. Learned a lot about how we what we call utility pole abatements, overpass viaducts, things of that nature. I think we saved probably more lives than we ever tried to save as safety people. But I did safety work, worked all kind of truck wrecks and did all kind of audits. And then they moved us in 2000 from the Federal Highway Administration to the Federal Motor Carrier Safety Administration. So I finished out my last 7 years with the Federal Motor Carrier Safety. But you know, I retired thinking maybe I'd go fishing, play golf, do stuff like that. And I started getting these phone calls, wanting me to do this, do that, do this. And I've had one blessed business now for the last 18 years. No telling how many expert witness truck cases I've worked on. No telling how many people I got the rating upgraded. No telling how many thousand data queues I filed. And I just been so blessed. And me and my wife sometimes just sit and look at each other and say, I can't believe it. I cannot believe it. Because you talk to other people that retired, and they hadn't done much, you know. I mean, they fished and played golf and all that stuff is. But I've been so blessed. And I know that I have, but I had a lot of experience with that. But this latest thing, when I was with the agencies there for 27 years, the federal agencies, not counting the ICC, and the PSC, but you know, I saw these things rise and fall. And as I had to testify recently in a deposition, I was with the federal government, the Federal Highway Administration, the Federal Motor Carrier Safety Administration, when we started CDLs. You didn't even have to have a CDL. I could go up at 18 years old. I could go up to the courthouse and get what they called at that time a chauffeur's license, which allowed me to drive a truck, and cost me $4 or $5. You know, it wasn't anything. Well, we had the big wreck with Walmart truck and found out the driver had 3 or 4 driver's license. So we had CDL. Well, prior to that, after that, we had drug and alcohol testing came through. And I worked through that system. And then everything else, CSA, SMS, SafeStat, I was there when just about everything is in place today. I was there when we developed it, implemented it. That's the two things you got to do. One is you got to do it through regulations or through legislation, which makes regulation, which you got to now get it in to law or regulations, and then you got to get it over to state and get them to do the same thing through MCSA. I was there when we developed MCSA. I was with the Tennessee Public Service Commission and the Federal Highway Administration when I met Todd Spencer, and that was when they first got really involved in this stuff. So that's kind of my history. But I thought, based on this latest thing about these work visas and these illegal people been getting CDLs, we had that when I was there. And I had this one truck driving school, and I'm not going to say where it was. I don't want to embarrass anybody. But they were bringing busloads of people in from foreign countries, putting them in a motel room, giving them a little bit of training, getting them a CDL issued, and they were out the door in 2 weeks with a CDL. They were not American citizens. And I know one time because one thing we did when we set up CDL, the state started keeping real good databases on who they issued CDLs to. And I don't know how I got involved in it, but I got involved probably out of D.C., told me to go down and look at that thing. We found at that particular school, we found 400 or 500 truck drivers that had an address, the same address. And that address was a motel there in that town that the school had bought and had a lot of rooms, and they would come in and they would set them up, take them over to the Tennessee Department of Safety driver's license section, start with, get them a driver's license, go back a day or two and get them a learner's permit for a CDL, and then in a couple of weeks issue them a CDL and out the door, and they never changed their address. Well, that got to be a real big deal. We looked into it for a long time and threatened all kinds of stuff. Well, the next thing you know, nobody was talking about it anymore.
Yeah, ain't that always the way? Indeed.
Yeah, and I think that's what we've done with this CDL thing. And you know, it wasn't 3 months, 4 months, 5 months ago. We said we're going to change this thing about the you must be able to speak.
Yeah, the
English language.
proficiency thing, yeah, which has been, in flux for a lot of years too. You know what? We can't talk anymore. We are out of time. That's the new format, so we got to get in the fast lane. Rick, man, thank you so much for giving us a little bit of that history, though. I think a lot of folks really are going to appreciate you a lot more next time you come visit with us.
Sounds good, buddy. Glad to talk to you. Take care.